This tutorial is about creating an exterior tangent to two unequal circles. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is create the two unequal circles. But what I would suggest doing initially is to actually identify how big you want to make the circles. So I'm going to start with 10 for my first circle, and I'm going to do half that for my second. So I'm going to go, let's see, we want to have these lined up. Okay, so we're gonna make it easy on ourselves the first time around, just to get the steps down, and we're gonna run them along the same center line. Okay, and this second one I'm just gonna make 4. Okay, so now I know the size of both of these. They both have a radius of 10 and 4 for the small. All right, next step is to actually connect the two circles with a line, as we've done before. So from the center mark of one circle, the large circle, the center mark of the small circle. Next step is to actually bisect this distance. All right. So as we've done before, let's bisect. But instead, let's include some layers. So make sure you have your layers in there when you start. Let's do the rest of this finding of this bisection point in red. All right. Let's do this again. So let me swing a radius. I know that the distance between the two now is 37, so let's make this 30. So swing an arc that's 30, 180 degrees. Hopefully my line went long enough there. And let's do a 30 from the other side as well. Remember, we're always swinging counterclockwise. So from the left-hand side, you have to start at the bottom, and from the right-hand side, you start at the top. So 30. Swing that around. Ah, just missed. Okay. Finish that other one up. Come back to this. Set my 30. Swing this around so I have made my own mistake. I'm just talking about it. So 30 down below, and I make that connection. Okay, so I have this point, and now I can make my bisecting line. Goes down through. Alright, so now I found my point of bisection, and the point of that was to be able to swing an arc contacts both sides. So for my center point, I'll swing the center point arc, and as I know that's the center point, I can start anywhere, and I swing that around, and if I've done it all correctly, it ends exactly at my other center point. Okay, so now bisect this line, and the next step, this is where it starts to get a little tricky, because we've done this before, but this is where it starts to get a little bit more tricky. Alright, what we're going to do now, and one of the things that we'll learn, ESIA, exterior, subtract, interior, add. Okay, exterior, subtract, interior, add. Now we're working with interior. We're doing an interior we're working with an exterior tangent at this point to two unequal circles. Exterior tangent to unequal. So we're going to subtract. What we're subtracting in this case is the size of the small circle from the radius of the large circle. Okay, so if this has got a radius I identified initially as 4, I'm going to subtract that from my 10. That leaves us with a radius of 6. And so what I'm going to do is now inside the large circle, I'm going to create a smaller circle that has a radius of 6. Okay. Now again, that's based off of the large being 10, small being 4, subtracting 10 from 4, and I end up with 6. Now, what we need to do is identify with a normal the point where, and I'm going to change colors for this. I'm actually going to change this one to a green. Okay, and then I'm going to use green again for my normals. And now the normal in this case goes to point of contact where the arc that I had swung, okay, contacts not my large circle but the new circle that has a radius of 6. Okay, so that's why we had to create the new circle, so we could identify where that arc intersects that new circle. Okay, so I have that, and I'm going to extend that up. It has to at least go beyond the large circle. Okay, so I have that point of contact on the large circle, because of course we're connecting the large to the small circle. It's important. Here's the other important thing. Once I've done that, what I have to do now is this normal has to be we're going to figure out what the angle is. So I'm going to change my dimension here from linear to angular. I'm going to come in here and identify what angle I'm at. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. I'm at 81 degrees. So what I have to do here is identify, I have to create another line that matches. So I have to have a parallel line on this other side. Okay. So one way of doing it is we can actually create our line, right? And since this is my base is 90, I can actually create this. And now one thing we can do is, notice how you can change the line length on this. I can also change the number of degrees by just hitting the tab button. It will tab in between the direction and the number. Okay, so 83 degrees, I'm going to change that to 82. Sometimes it's hard to get that set. 82. Now I know that this line here is parallel to this other line over here. Alright? And so being able to figure that out is an important step, because you're not going to always be right along the 90. Sometimes you're going to be at a different angle and you've got to offset for this. Now we're ready to actually create our tangent line, because we have the two normals and where they contact. We've identified the point of contact, of course, because where the normals intersect both of these circles is our point of contact. Now I just have to click over to white. Okay. I'm going to make a line from one to the next. I'm going to extend it out, and you can get, it's easier to get an extension line identified. Okay, you can kind of do it this painstaking way, or the way I prefer to do it is now, since we know how to make a line, we create a line up here. Let me create a line on the back side here. Repeat line, and I can extend to both those points, and there we have it. Okay, we'll have then finished. Okay. We've then finished our part. Okay, we can get rid of these extension lines we need, and now we have a tangent between two unequal, an exterior tangent between two unequal circles. Please give this a try, and then once you finish this one, try two more. Good luck.